Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Steggy again, back with another Disney Lorcana card of the day. Now today's card of the day is going to be Tinkerbell Tiny Tactician. Tinkerbell is a steel card. She costs 3 ink, but she is inkable, and again, that means she can be placed into your inkwell. She has 2 strength, 4 willpower, pretty good, and 1 lore. She has 1 ability, it's called Battle Plans. You can exert her to draw a card, then choose and discard a card. And real quick, she's also common. That's her rarity. She is common, so she's going to be pretty easy to obtain. So what do I think about this Tinkerbell? 1, she's not too bad. Right now, stat-wise, she's a bit more on the defensive side. The 2 strength isn't terrible. She is able to trade with a lot of characters that are lower costed than her and survive, which is pretty nice. Captain Hook, for example, the 1 cost Captain Hook cannot trade with Tinkerbell because he would be banished in return. Basically, all of the 1-drop characters we've seen, except for say Olaf, would be taken out by her in 1 go, but Olaf would take 2 shots before he would go down because of that 3 willpower. Also, for other characters in her ink cost, like the Wardrobe, Kristoff, Jasmine, Steamboat Mickey is another one. She would be able to survive one of their attacks, and if she chose to challenge in return, she would banish both of them, but she would be able to banish them as well. That 4 willpower is actually really, really nice. Now, I think why she has 4 willpower is because you are kind of meant to exert her for you to draw a card and then discard a card. And this can be very useful. I think drawing a card and then discarding one isn't actually too bad. Now, I do have to say, if you don't have any cards in your hand and you do exert Tinkerbell to draw a card, you have to discard that card you draw. You can't draw a card and then be like, oh, I'm gonna ink this card really quick, or I'm going to play Fire the Cannons while the stack is on the table. Whatever. It's just like from Magic. If you know Magic, you would understand. No, you can't do that. It's 1 go. You draw the card and then you have to discard it if you have no cards in hand. Now, if you have multiple cards in hand, let's say you have 1 card in hand, just 1, and you use Tinkerbell, you can draw a card. You don't have to discard that card you draw. You can discard the other card in your hand. Or if you have multiple cards, you can discard one of the other cards in your hand. You can do that. It doesn't necessarily specify you have to discard the card you draw. And if you did, that would be kind of silly. But now, this is very useful. It's called a looting mechanic. You're able to get rid of cards that aren't benefiting you at that moment. So, for example, maybe you're holding 2 copies of the Amber card just in time, and you don't have any characters to play that would really benefit from you playing that action card. You can exert your Tinkerbell, draw a new card, and then get rid of a just in time, put it into your discard, and now you have more options available to you in your hand. Now, of course, if you happen to draw a character you can play with just in time, well, now you might be in a pickle. But you get the idea. You're able to get rid of cards from your hand that aren't in any way going to help you further the game state, I suppose. In addition, we have seen numerous cards that do interact with the graveyard. In Steel, which is the same color as Tinkerbell, we do have that 4-cost Captain Hook, which is able to get back Fire the Cannons from your graveyard. It would feel bad to have to discard Fire the Cannons from Tinkerbell's effect, but maybe you drew into like a Simba or something and you're like, oh, I need this Simba. My opponent's playing evasive characters. I definitely need to get this Simba into play. Oh, but I have to discard something. You could get rid of your Fire the Cannons because you know that you play Captain Hook. That Fire the Cannons isn't gone. It's just temporarily in a different holding area, and you could just get it back as soon as you get your Captain Hook into play. So that's a really nice option, and that's just in Steel. This is just a Steel example. We can talk about yesterday's card of the day, which is Lady Tremaine. If you're playing Steel and Emerald, you could play Lady Tremaine and retrieve any action cards that you discarded and or even played. If they're in your discard pile, you can get them back. And that could be with Tinkerbell. You could use Tinkerbell. You could discard The Beast Is Mine. You could discard Smash. Put it into your discard pile. Later on, play your Lady Tremaine and get that card back. Yeah, you're not able to play that card twice, right? You're not doubling up. But at least you're still able to play it, you know, at least once, which is, you know, kind of what you're supposed to do. So it's not bad. It's not a bad feeling when you have to ditch some of these cards, because you can just get them back. And there's other examples too. I mean, like Amber has Hades in Part of Your World, which can get characters back from your discard pile. Again, it doesn't feel bad to get rid of cards into your discard pile, especially if you have a way to get them back. You know, also, you have to keep in mind that almost every turn, you're putting a card into your inkwell, and that card is gone forever. I mean, not forever, but for the rest of the game, you're not going to have access to that card. At least with Tinkerbell in the discard pile, you do have access to that. Yes, it does take certain cards, but there are ways to get cards out of your discard pile into your hand. So she does offer a bit of combo synergy in that regard. You are able to look for important cards in your deck. Like maybe you are looking for Simbas, you know, maybe you are looking for Captain Hooks, maybe you're playing Steel Ruby, you're looking for your Mickey Mouse, you're looking for your Dragonfires, right? Tinkerbell can help you look through your deck for those cards. And it's okay if other cards go to your discard pile, because whatever you're discarding isn't helping you win the game at that moment. You need to find a certain card. Tinkerbell can help you do that. With her 4 willpower, she's going to stay on the board for a couple turns. She's going to be able to get you a few cards. And your opponent isn't really going to want to run their characters into Tinkerbell because of her 2 strength. It's going to probably take at least 2 characters to take out Tinkerbell, and she's going to put some good damage on those characters that try to challenge her. And that's going to set you up for your characters to then finish off your opponent's characters, especially if you're playing other steel cards like the 1-drop Captain Hook or the 2-drop Prince Eric, which can challenge up, get bonus strength, and just be able to take out these damaged characters. So I think Tinkerbell is a very good character. I think she has a really good design, especially in a deck that utilizes the discard pile, I suppose is one way to put it. If you don't use the discard pile, she's definitely not bad for sure. Again, because you are able to get rid of cards that aren't helping you win the game and hopefully get cards that can help you win the game. So overall though, like, how do I feel about Tinkerbell? You know, what would I rank Tinkerbell? So I don't think she's bad at all. I definitely think she's playable. In my opinion, a solid 7 out of 10 in just any deck. You can throw her in with no synergies or anything. 7 out of 10 card. Now, if you're playing, I'll just say, if you're playing Steel and Amber, which has a lot of graveyard or discard recursion, I think she's probably a solid 8, where I'm going to boost her up to an 8 out of 10. She's able to put those cards into your graveyard so you can draw other cards that will benefit you. And she's also able to ditch cards that you might not need at that moment or be unable to ink. If you are playing Steel and Amber, there are a lot of good Steel and Amber cards that are unable to be inked. And Tinkerbell can help you get rid of those cards, so maybe you can dig through your deck to find cards that can be inked or that can be played, or, you know, what have you. So I would say a solid 8 out of 10 in a deck that can really utilize her effect and really benefit from the discard pile. Yeah, but maybe a 7 out of 10 in a deck that doesn't. Drawing a card is really nice, but you are essentially replacing a card in your hand for a card from your deck. So it's like, is that a good trade-off? So that's how I feel. I do think she's really good, and I would definitely keep my eye out for the new Tinkerbell. Hopefully we get that revealed soon. We saw a blurry picture of her, and I think she's going to be a Floodborn, so she's shiftable. I think she's going to have a great effect, and if that's the case, I think this Tinkerbell will be played even more. So, again, 7 out of 10, normal deck, 8 out of 10 in a deck that uses discard pile. But hey, thanks for listening. I didn't think I'd ramble this much about Tinkerbell, but she has a very unique effect, and I like it. I just want to get my thoughts out there about it and what you can do with her. So maybe you can see her in a different light, and you're like, oh, okay, I see, you know? And you know what? Just as real quick, you can also quest with her. I mean, that's not... You can always do that. You don't always have to use her effect. She has 1 lore. She has 4 willpower. She ain't going anywhere for a while. So you can always get a little bit of lore from her as well. So she is useful. But hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.